Hey guys, it's the Junior Coder, and this is part 2 of the Intro to Python tutorial series. So let's get right into it. So, you have learned how to print messages on the terminal. In this section, I'll teach you how to receive input from the user. So, print and input are functions that are built into Python. Let's say you want to ask the user for their name. This is how you do it. So, you write input, what is your name, between the quotes, then you store it in the name variable. Here's a little exercise for you. I want you to ask the user two questions, their name and their favorite color. Then, print a message like John likes blue. My solution is coming up next. So first, you start by defining a variable called name. Then, you set it to user input, and you ask the user for their name. Next, you make another variable called favorite color. Then you also set it to a user input and ask for their favorite color. And then you print name plus likes between quotations and favorite color. Now let's run our program and see what we get. Let's type our name and our favorite color. So it says the Junior Coder likes blue. Our program is working. Let's say you want to make a program to calculate someone's age. You make a variable called birth year, and then you set it to user input. Then you ask for their birth year. Then you make a new variable called age. Then you do some simple math. So 2020 minus their birth year. So now let's print the age variable and run our program. So let's give it our birth year. We got an error. So it says type error, unsupported operand type for integer and string. So what this is saying is that you can't subtract a string from an integer. Birth year is a string and 2020 is an integer. So you'll have to convert the birth year variable to an integer. And that's very easy. So far you've learned about two built-in functions. First is print and then the other one is input. We have a few more functions for converting values into different types. So we have int for converting a string into an integer. We also have float for converting a string to a number that has a decimal point. And we also have bool for converting a string into a boolean value. So to fix this problem, we need to go back to the age variable and pass the birth year variable to the int function. This will change the birth year from a string to an integer. And now let's run our program again. Let's give it our birth year. And we get 14. Now here's a little exercise for you. I want you to write a program to ask the user for the weight in pounds, then convert it to kilograms and print it on the terminal. My solution is coming up next. Alright, let's use the input function to ask the user for the weight in pounds. Then let's store it in a variable called weight in lbs. Now we need to convert it into kilograms. That is very easy. So we define another variable, weight in kilograms, and then we set it to the integer value of the weight lbs times 0.45. Let's print weight kilogram on terminal and run our program. Let's give it 110 pounds. And we get about 50 kilograms. In this section, we're going to look at formatted strings in Python. Formatted strings are useful in situations where you want to dynamically generate some text using your variables. Let me show you. Let's say we have two variables, first name and last name. We set first to John and last to Smith. Let's say you want to print something like John Smith is a coder. To do that, we need to make a message variable, and let's set it to first plus some space plus last and plus is a coder between quotations. Now let's print message on the terminal and run our program. In the terminal we can see John Smith is a coder, so our code is working. While this approach works, that's a lot of code for one sentence. So we use a formatted string to get the same output in far less code. Let me show you. So you prefix it with an F and then write first and last in curly braces since they're variables, and then write is a coder in the quotations. So now let's run our program again and we get the same result. In this section, we're going to be looking at a few useful functions when working with numbers. Let's start by defining a variable called x, and let's set it to 2.9. So we can round this number by using the built-in round function. So we write round and then we pass x. We have another useful built-in function called ABS, which stands for absolute. We give it a value and it will always return the positive representation of that value, even if that value is negative. So instead of passing x, we'll pass negative 2.9. Now let's print both of these on the terminal and run our program. So as you can see, the rounding is 3 and the ABS is 2.9. In this section, I'll talk to you guys about if statements in Python. If statements are extremely important in programming, and they allow us to build programs that can make decisions based on some conditions. So if some conditions are true, we're going to do certain things, otherwise we're going to do other things. Here's an example. Here in this text file, I have a few rules for our program. If it's a hot day, we want to tell the user that it's a hot day and drink plenty of water. Otherwise, if it's a cold day, we want to tell the user that it's a cold day and wear warm clothes. Otherwise, we want to tell the user it's a lovely day. So let me show you how to write a program that simulates these rules. Let's start by defining a variable called isHot. Let's set it to false. Next, we'll define another variable called isCold. We'll set that to true. Now, let's make a simple if statement. So if isHot, print it's a hot day, and also print drink plenty of water. Next we'll write elif, which stands for else if. Is cold, print it is a cold day, and also print wear warm clothes. And else, print it is a lovely day. Now let's run our program. We get it's a cold day, wear warm clothes. We get this result because it's cold is set to true. If we change it to false and change it's hot to true, we'll get it's a hot day, drink plenty of water. And if we set both of them to false, we'll get it's a lovely day. Here's an exercise for you. Imagine the price of a house is $1 million. If the buyer has good credit, they need to put down 10%. Otherwise, they need to put down 20%. Then print the down payment. My solution is coming up next. Let's start by making a variable called price. Then let's set it to 1 million. Next, let's make another Boolean variable called has good credit. Let's set it to true. Then, if has good credit, down payment equals 0.1 times the price. Else, down payment equals 0.2 times the price. Next, let's print down payment equals down payment variable. So that'll be it for part 2. If you learned something, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Keep a lookout for part 3 of this series, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.